Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be recreating a look that I have had saved on my Pinterest since the dawn of time. It is a look originated by Rohrer, and so shout out to her. She is absolutely stunning. This look is gorgeous. The blending is amazing. You can see my recreation here, so I guess spoiler alert. So if you want to join me and come along with this journey of creating this look, then just keep watching. All right, my goblins and ghouls, let's recreate this look from Rohrer. I don't quite know how to say her last name or her second part of her handle there. It's Rohrer, Rohrer. That's like trying to say rural or horror. This is a look that I've fawned over probably since like the dawn of Pinterest. It's one of the first makeup looks I saw on Pinterest. I believe she first posted this in 2017. Luckily for me, it didn't take too much effort to backtrack and find the person that posted the picture and did the makeup look originally. One thing that's hard with finding looks, especially like on Pinterest, is they're not always from the original source. It's almost as if the stars aligned, because lucky me, her picture was listed on a list of a blog post of alternative makeup looks, and then thankfully that person that made that blog post credited the original artist. Thus I found her page, and funnily enough, this is why I'm saying that the stars have aligned. She recently posted a video tutorial of her recreating this specific look. So I'll put the picture like right here. I'm always down for a good fall look. It's the middle of winter here where I live. In fact, we had our third snow day this school year today, so I didn't have to go to work. But I'm always down for a good fall look. This, like I said, look has been haunting me basically my entire makeup existence. It's something that I've always wanted to recreate. I just love the warm, rusty orange tones juxtaposed with the dark brown and then the almost black lip. We'll see what lipstick I use. I might use a more of a red tone than a blackened tone, but we'll see how it looks once I get the face done. I definitely don't have as big of lips as she does. I can do some makeup magic with overlining and whatever, but not a big deal. Anyway, so much talking. Let's get into it. I'm gonna start off with priming my skin with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer again. Is my hair gonna bother anybody else? It's not bothering me, but I'm not the one watching this. I washed it last night. I don't always like to sleep with my hair on my pillow, especially when it's wet. So I've learned to clip it up like this so it doesn't hit the back of the pillow, but then also kind of gives me volume because I have very fine, limp hair. For foundation, I'm using the Yensa BC Foundation Skin on Skin Full Coverage, kind of CC-BC cream. Taking a damp beauty egg. We're just gonna squirt that on the back there and spread it all over my face. This product doesn't have a ton of shades available, which is upsetting. I know they recently expanded it to have a few more darker shades. I don't own a makeup company. I've never tried making makeup. I'm not interested in getting into the industry. And I get it, like a startup is hard. This is a smaller company. But if you're gonna launch a product, launch it with as many shades as possible. Make it as accessible as possible, and I guarantee you'll have more customers. I had a teacher, she was actually a substitute teacher, who wore her hair like this like every day. And then she dressed like she was out of the 80s, so she had her color-blocked windbreakers on and, you know, tennis shoes with wind pants. Her hair was always up in a bun like this, and she had raccoon eyeliner. And it's funny looking back on that now because at the time, unfortunately, as terrible as grade school kids are, a lot of us wouldn't tease her to her face, but would just kind of pick apart her appearance. It's not even funny. But she was just living out her best life, her best fashion. I'm sure there's going to be times when I'm older and dressing counterculture to whatever is popular at the time. Like right now, I will never, ever, ever, never say never, wear low-rise jeans. And I don't have any bell bottoms or boot cut necessarily in my wardrobe. So I'm a leggings person and a jeggings person very thoroughly. So I'm sure when my kids are older and I'm, you know, either working in a school or whatever, I'm going to be picked apart. But she was like the nicest person, going back to the substitute. So, and like I said, everyone's kind of an asshole in grade school, especially high school, because that's where she was a sub in. We need to be better. For concealer under the eyes and on any trouble spots, same as last time, medium peach e.l.f. Camo Concealer. The shade is medium peach, I should say. So how was everyone's New Year's? Any resolutions that you made? I'm not big about making resolutions. I do like the symbolism of kind of a fresh start at the beginning of a new year. For some people, it can just be that like symbolic refresh, restart. For me, my birthday is on New Year's. Hi. Thanks for the birthday wishes. A few days late, but it's fine. I won't tell anyone. I don't know. I've never really been big on resolutions. I think you can start over no matter where you are. Any day can be a new day, but some people just really need, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I should just stop talking. Setting my under eyes with the Essence Banana Bright powder. And then I'm going to set my whole face with the e.l.f. HD powder in sheer. I think for me, with resolutions and such, I've always been somebody that's had to go, go, go. I've always been doing something, you know, whether it's sports, schooling, extracurricular activities. It always felt like I was embarking on something new, so I never felt like I wanted to put more on my plate, if that makes sense. Like even this year, I'm not really interested in starting or setting any resolutions because I'm planning on attending grad school this summer and starting that journey. And so I know I'm already going to struggle with getting into a new routine, going back to school. I've only been out of school for a year. I'm a chronic learner. I'm constantly going to school, technically at my own pace, and COVID slowed things down and whatever. I am lucky enough to be able to go to school. I think in America, it's extremely hard for people to afford going to like college or tech colleges, tech schools, university, even though it's so pushed with our culture that in order to be worth something, you need to go to school. And so I felt like I was rushed into school. Luckily, I found a career that I really, really liked. And looking in the picture, sorry, back to makeup. Looking at the picture, it looks like she has some warmth up on her forehead, so I am going to use some bronzer. I don't normally wear a lot of bronzer. I think it can just be too much on my skin tone, especially during winter. This is the NARS Laguna bronzer. I just have a mini, just a baby. And I'm just gonna put a little bit on my forehead here. Really blend that out so it's not very stark. I try to use only cruelty-free products. I did receive this in like a kit, so I'm just trying to use it up, but NARS is not cruelty-free. They used to be, and then unfortunately started selling in China, not just to China. So for those of you that don't know, a big thing with the cruelty-free realm is that if products are sold in China, China requires animal testing to be done on products before they're sold to the population. So if you're sold in China, you have to test on animals. But if you ship to China, that's different. Unfortunately, NARS decided to choose violence. Which is sad because I've always wanted to try their products, and by the time I had like the funds to buy some of them, because they are expensive, they were no longer cruelty free, which is sad. I'm gonna put a little bit on my neck here just to tie everything together. Like I said, not a lot of bronzer, just enough to warm up the forehead like she has in the picture. And then in watching her video of how she does her face for that look, she used eyeshadow for her blush and used like a lighter orange kind of as the whole draping thing here, and then a brighter, more brick orange on the center parts. So I'm gonna see if I can find a good color in the ColourPop Gone Matte palette, mega palette. There's a lot of orange shades on this one side here that can be very useful for this kind of look. I'm just gonna take a less dense kind of fluffy brush and we will use the shade Chase Me, Chase, like C-H-A-I-S-E, which I think is a form of furniture. But going back to the whole schooling thing, I feel like in most cases in American households, in American schools, college is really pushed hard. I'm also going underneath the eye a little bit because she has it all blended together to make a really cohesive look. College is pushed really hard. I know in my senior year of high school, they almost basically the last like couple months of school, it was like the teachers kind of let off after finals and whatnot. And if you were taking a study hall like I did, we had the block method, so we had 4 classes a day, which I think is the best setup for students. It's not overwhelming. You have enough time to learn your topic and then maybe start homework a little bit at the end versus just, you know, a 30-minute lesson and then go, go, go. But if you had like a study hall, which most of us that were academically minded like myself, I was a very big goody two-shoes growing up. And if you were like me, you were in the library, they had, and I think a lot of schools have, which I think is good, especially if they're pushing you to go to college, they had a scholarship wall basically where there were applications to scholarships that a lot of kids would be eligible for, and you could spend your study hall filling those out. We're gonna put some on the tip of the nose here. Like I said, the teachers were also letting up and talking to you about like, okay, make sure you apply for this, make sure you start a savings account, which is super smart. They should have opened a compounding savings account like they said. But you're really supposed to know what you want to go for and where you want to go for it. Luckily, I lived in a college town, so I could live at home while I figured that shit out, and I took college courses in school and AP courses, so I got some of the general requirements out of the way. But also in a way, I feel like that screwed me over because had I not been required to take a lot of prereqs and general requirements just for a bachelor's degree, I would never have found out my love for psychology. I thought psychology was really dumb, that kind of thing, but I was technically like forced through the school. I could have probably taken these whenever, but of course me, I wanted to get things done as soon as possible, was required to take a couple psychology courses. And so one was a general psychology class, and then the other one was an abnormal psychology class. And luckily I had the same teacher for both, and she was incredible. incredible. I think I'm going to take a step back really quick and prime my eyes because this is all going to bleed together and I'd like my eyes to be ready for that. I'm just using the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer. I feel like this one gives you a lot of coverage. So if you deal with thin skin around your eyes or blueness, veins, etc., redness, this would be good because it really blanks it out. It does come in one shade again, so that's unfortunate. We're going to keep building up that orange on the higher points of my cheeks, which is the same color, just adding more and closer to my eye. In the abnormal psych class, her biggest goal was, I would like to teach you guys everything there is to know about psychology, but her main goal was to destigmatize mental health and mental health disorders, which, as I said in my first video here, is a huge thing to me. I am looking like a clown. Oops. So we're gonna go into the next color underneath Chase Me is Snug as a Bug, so we're gonna do that. I, like many people, have been through a lot of traumatic experiences in my life. I had a huge health scare in high school that I thought I might not live through. Required a lot of surgeries, a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of long drives to hospitals that were specialized in what I was dealing with. This is the e.l.f. blush brush, and like I said, we're going with Snug as a Bug on the higher points here. But growing up, I always felt like I had to be stoic, unemotional, ambitious, ready to face whatever the world gave me. And so a lot of my mental health struggles were unaddressed because I just refused to acknowledge them. I viewed mental health disorders as weakness, and thus that fueled my avoidance of acknowledging what I had been through and what my mind was grappling with as a result of that. Luckily, through this class and the destigmatization and the teacher's goal of destigmatizing mental health, okay, sorry about that. Nothing really happened. I just did some more blending and I applied more of that orange here. We had a furnace guy come and the furnace is right outside my room. We're gonna start in on eyes now. I'm gonna zoom you guys in. We're just gonna use the same colors and then some darker browns like she does in the video. Do look like a clown. We can fix that, hopefully. It doesn't look as stark in my mirror here. I don't remember where I was at, but I'm just gonna take a big fluffy brush, kind of fluffy square brush, and apply that first orange and Chase Me all over the lid and underneath. I don't remember what I was saying, but all in all, I think America's education system is so backwards and just set up for not success anymore. But having general requirements is a double-edged sword in that it causes some people to waste time and money on taking classes that they will never reap the benefits from or have interest in. But for me, it was lucky because I found a love for psychology. And so now I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in sign language interpreting and a degree in psychology. I don't really know what I plan to do with that, but I have it if I need it. It was mostly just to get a 4-year degree under my belt because with my career, if I wanted to become a nationally certified interpreter, I would have to have a 4-year. It could be in anything, so this is what I chose. I'm going to grad school this summer to become a deaf and hard of hearing teacher. Well, work on becoming a deaf and hard of hearing teacher. And definitely having a background in psychology is helpful because a lot of the kids that I work with and will work with are not neurotypical. At work, the term that we use for the kiddos that we service that have multiple needs is deaf plus. So, you know, they might be deaf blind, they could be deaf with ASD, they could be deaf with Down syndrome, all those things. And so having a background in psychology is going to be really beneficial for me in that I can understand a lot of mental processes and how to adjust the student's environment to create success. And so it worked out for me, but I know for a lot of people it doesn't work out for them. I love how in other countries it's either college is free or it's very cheap. And in some places, I don't know exactly where, but it's kind of culturally acceptable and expected that you take a gap year. If you don't know what a gap year is, it's a year between you graduating high school and attending college. And it's mostly meant for people to travel and figure out what they want to do and where they want to go with their life, which I think is great. I think that should be more culturally acceptable here. My partner's sister did that, and I think it worked out really well for her because she just got to kind of live and experience being an adult before going back to being a student. Because there's such a mindset of when you're a student, feels like you're not grown up enough to advocate for yourself, or you maybe feel like you're constantly under the beck and whim of somebody else, which makes sense. You know, if you have a teacher, you're gonna have homework, you're gonna have to follow their classroom rules, you know, all those expectations of you. I know I myself, now at the ripe old age of 27, still feel like a child, which some people would argue it's just a mindset, and I agree, it can be a mindset, but I'm so focused on success and ambition and achieving, at least I have been in my early days of life, that it feels like I'm never going to become an adult. Going in with a more dense square brush, I'm going back in with Snug as a Bug, and this is going to go back all over the lid to create more cohesion. Oh, well, that was a lot of pigment. Oh well, we'll blend it out. That's the nice thing about using the same colors for your blush and your eyeshadow is that if you put too much on or it gets out of bounds, if you will, you can kind of just blend them into each other. I'm impatient, so I kind of just want to go in with my finger with the shade all over. I should really use orange more often. I have such green hazel-ish eyes. I have what's called central heterochromia, I believe is what it is, and that's just where you have a ring of a separate color around your pupil. But I do have like greenish eyes with a golden ring around the pupil. It's important to go back and forth with your two colors, especially if they're blown out all over your face, to really create the seamless blend between the colors. Just using a more densely packed pencil brush underneath the eye here with the darker color. And then we'll blend it out even more. A lot of looks that I like that are more alternative, if you will, often bring the eyeshadow down a lot further than I do. So like on one of my eye bag creases right there. So like the socket of my eye. And I really like that look. And I think like, oh, I'm putting the eyeshadow down so low already as it is. And then in comparison, it's not at all. So this is what it looks like so far. Keep blending the blush out. But as for my eyes, my central heterochromia, I don't know if you guys can see it. I can hear my camera struggling to focus. Okay, so I think she goes in with a brown next in the crease and then blends that on the lid as well. So I think I'm gonna start with a not so densely packed, fluffy, smaller brush with a darker brown in the same palette. We're gonna use this, we're gonna start with the shade Snoozin'. And then there's some darker shades from that we can continue with. I'm curious to know if any of you guys are in school or planning to go to school, what you want to go for, or if you have gone to school and aren't in school right now, was there something you thought you wanted to do and it just didn't work out for you, or you didn't like it once you got into the classes? Because for me, I can speak on my own experience here. I started out wanting to do nursing, something in the medical field, and then quickly found out that that was not for me. And due to my medical experiences personally with my disease that I've mentioned before, have actually like adverse reactions to being in a hospital. So like being on the other end probably would not be fun for me. I think we're gonna take a little bit under the eyes here too. In editing my first video and the first two videos that I'm never probably gonna post, I'm saying that as if like, okay, fine, I'll post them. Gonna go in with a flatter brush with that same color all over the lid now. And we're definitely gonna darken that up because that's not the color that I want to end up with, but it is pretty. Can't remember what I was talking about. Fuck. Oh, I think I was talking about schooling and going for, I guess I would say like the wrong degree for myself. I'm sure I could have stuck it out, and knowing me, I would have had like a strong upper lip about it, bottom lip, whatever, upper lip. We're gonna go in with another brush about the same density, and I think now we're gonna go in with a darker shade. We're gonna do Powder Puff because it's still got that warm undertone, but it's just a richer, more chocolatey brown than what I was using. This one's gonna go start on the lid here. We can even go darker if we need to. Luckily for me, in my high school, we were required to take a language class, and we had a smattering of choices. I think that we had Russian, Ojibwe, Spanish, German maybe, and American Sign Language. So I took ASL 1 and 2 in high school, and that is where I found my passion for sign language. And so even though I had started my first year of college, again, I was lucky that it was in my hometown so I could live at home. So that was less expensive. I had a lot of grants. I took a lot of college courses, so I got a lot of those out of the way early. My first year was just doing prereqs because, like I said, I had wanted to do nursing originally, and then I was like, nah, fam, not for me. And I live in a state that is fairly heavily populated with deaf individuals and deaf and hard of hearing individuals. So there's some programs available that are pretty well known and have good reputation across the country. Honestly, I'm looking in her picture again. It looks like there's a little bit more of a red tone in some of the brown. So I am gonna go in with another shade called Poof, P-O-U-F-F-E, Pouffe, I don't know. But first I'm just gonna keep blending out that brown. No additional product on the brushes. So I got my first year of college out of the way and then transferred to the Twin Cities to a school that had what I was looking for, which was the sign language interpreting program. And it took me 4 years to get it, again, because even though it was a tech school, there was like 2 years worth of prereqs before you could get into the 2-year program. So collectively 4 years. Graduated, kind of just worked around, and then worked up the courage to apply for a job that I've been working at now for about 4 years. And so, like I said, in the end, it worked out for me. I'm just going back in with the blush colors to even out the amount of pigment across my entire face. I'm gonna just take a brush and go in with Poof and maybe a little tab of Velvet Dress and just focus that on the lid. I haven't even done eyebrows yet. I forgot. This is how often I do eyebrows, guys. I don't, so I just forget about them. The last eyebrows I did were definitely Sharpie brows. So we're gonna go in with a pencil this time and make them a little bit more natural. Okay. I'm gonna go underneath my eye a little bit with Powder Puff for now with a liner brush. And I believe she uses black eyeliner, but I'm gonna use dark brown because I don't like the way that black looks on me. It makes my eyes look extra small. Not that tight lining is gonna make a difference what color I use if it's dark, but I also think, again, with my eye color, brown complements them better. And the only highlight it looks like she uses on her nose and in the inner corner. So I'm gonna go in with a matte, my skin tone color on my brow bone. And then for the inner corner, we're gonna go in with that ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Couche. I think I started talking about this and then just this is how my brain works. I start a topic, get derailed, or completely forget about what I'm saying in the middle of talking. But I was mentioning how in editing the last video and the 2 videos before that, just kind of realizing how much I like to babble and how I talk a lot, but I don't really say anything. And then also just how I'm so very much anti-toxic positivity. Like, you can be mad, you can be sad, you don't have to be happy all the time, you don't have to grit your teeth and bear everything and say, I'm fine. Going in with the Essence, I think it's like an Everlasting pencil liner. It's in the same line as my Silky Nude one, but this one is just in brown. Using this on my waterline, and then I might do some on my upper lash line. But I am so not a toxic positive person. I like to encourage people and everything, but I also like to give them the space to be mad, to be upset, to be sad. And I feel like that's how I came across as far as like being toxically positive. Can you use those words like that? And just how, like, the only word I can think of to describe myself in those videos is vapid. It's like I'm trying too hard to come across as positive, as interesting, as intellectual, when in reality I don't know jack shit. Okay? And like, I would like what I talk about to have substance and believability, and for people to watch my videos and be like, oh yeah, that's totally you, versus like this persona that I create online. All right, there's eyeliner. The camera's making it look like I haven't really blended my blush like at all, which might be the case, but it looks a lot more blended here in my mirror, like I said. All right, we're gonna attempt brows. This is the Milani Precision Brow in medium brown. Like I said, I never really feel like I need a ton of assistance with my brows, just some evening out and shaping. So excuse me while I don't talk during this. Okay, I think that's about as much as I'm gonna want to do. I don't like putting brow gel in my brows. I do have it, but I don't like crunchy, crispy brows. Okay, we're gonna just do a thin layer of mascara. It's the same CoverGirl Waterproof Exhibitionist mascara. Usually if I'm putting on false lashes, I do my mascara first, and I'll only do 1 coat on the top because I'm gonna put false lashes on anyway. I don't want to have extra crunchy eyelashes. But then I'll still put some on my bottom lashes. Oh, you shithead. Really? I'm 2 for 2 for getting mascara on everything. Fuck, man. Just can't win. Of course, with being online, you can kind of create this persona of whoever you want to be. And so maybe the people that I think are really funny, everything's doctored, right? You cut out the things you don't want. You emphasize the things that you think are hilarious. I like to think I make people laugh. I like to think I'm funny, but you tell me. You're gonna be the judge. For highlight, like I said, I'm just going to do it on my nose. I'm using the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlit Pearls. This is quite possibly my favorite highlighter, and it's like $3, though I don't know if they're discontinuing it because I've seen it on sale every single time they've had a sale. For lashes, I'm going to go in with the Kiss Style. I think I'm going to use Royal Silk. So that top one right here, I think is the one that I'm going to use. This is the step I always skip in measuring them to make sure that they are not too long for my eye. Because as big as I think my head is and my features are, some of these lashes are just a little too big. I think that should be fine. And so what I do with my lash glue, I'm just using the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive with Aloe in clear. And so what I do with my lashes is I just plop them into a pair of tweezers like that, and then take the glue and apply a fairly thick amount on the lash, and then set that to the side and let that dry down a bit. Okay, and then lipstick, we should get that figured out too while that's drying. I think I'm gonna go with the Miracle Matte Lip by Flower in the shade Fig Frenzy. It's this really pretty, I think it's close to the color that she used without being pitch black. Really pretty kind of, I would say fig burnt plum kind of shade there. Now I just need to find a liner that works well enough with it. So I have a lot here, not a ton. The lip liner I'm going to use is NYX, and it's in the shade Current. I do have some lip balm on. To be honest, if I'm using like a liquid lipstick formula, I do like to leave some lip balm on underneath just so my lips don't feel like SpongeBob. Water! Lash glue is gooey. I'm going to attempt to line my lips a little bit while my lash glue is still drying. I am going to try to make my lips look a little bit bigger. One way that I saw people doing that so it doesn't look like super big clown lips is just to do the bottom and the top of your lips and keep the rest normal. There's no real pretty... what a look. There's no real pretty way of me putting on lashes. The glue is mostly dry here and I'm just gonna tease it around with my tweezers. What I found helpful is pinching the lashes, the false lashes, to my real lashes so they have the same kind of curve to them. Okay, now it's time to add lash glue to the other one and do my top lip while this is drying. Okay, now that I have the majority of that blocked out, we're gonna go into the liquid lip. So, who likes who? Okay, so here's the finished makeup look. Let's zoom you guys back out. Finished makeup look, but I would like my hair to look a little bit nicer than it is right now. So we're going to have a reveal. I haven't seen my hair since I put it up, so we'll see what it looks like. I can work with that. I'll be right back, guys. I'm gonna finish my hair and throw everything together. All right, here's the finished look. I just brushed through my hair and added a shine serum, so hopefully it's less frizzy. I don't even know what's going on right now. I really like this look a lot. I'm really happy I finally recreated it. Again, the original look is by Lauren R. I will try to link her down below. Thanks for joining me today, guys. Let me know if there's anything you're gonna be starting this year, or any resolutions that you have, or something that you want to continue doing that you did last year, or maybe it's something you want to leave behind. Let me know down below, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye. We'll see if I do black lips. That sounds wrong. Oh, it's the first Wednesday of the month, isn't it? That's why there's the sirens going off. Let's take a Reese's break while I let that sink in. I feel like I've never used this before. I should really go through all my brushes and see what I have. And clean my face brushes, holy fuck. Skin on Skin BC Foundation in the shade. Hello, where are you? What the fuck? I could have sworn you said what you were. What the fuck? Am I crazy? I mean, yeah, that's a given. And T-Ways. Oh shit, you can't see my armpits. I didn't shave. Really need that like day of symbology. But where's the brush that I normally fucking shit? I'm actually triple fisting it with the drinks. You saw me finish one. Now I'm on to some warm tea. Because like I said, it's a snow day. It's kind of cold outside. Oh, that was not the spot to do that. But you know what? Look at that face. My boyfriend's gonna shit. Medium brow. Oh, fuck. I'm just using the Kiss Lash Strip. God bless America. The Kiss. I have to pee so bad. I can't. Yeah, I can't. Oh shit. What the fuck, homie? But if you want to see how, I feel like my nose looks like a hook. Wow, good job, Carly Jean. Yet another video of you saying nothing while simultaneously talking way too much about nothing. Okay. Goodbye forever and ever.